Okay, we're going to call to order the February 16th, this ain't February, we're going to call to order the March 16th meeting. Madam Clerk, pledge please.
Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Councilman Asbill.
Present.
Councilman Buddy.
Present.
Councilman Chatelain.
Present.
Councilman Johnston.
Present.
Councilman Ricks.
Present.
Mayor Bodier.
Present.
Police Chief LaPree.
Present.
Fire Chief St. Cyr is absent. Finance Director Todd Turnion.
Present.
City Attorney Scott Stansberry.
Present.
Myself, Carrie Eustace Clerk, present. Mayor's announcements.
A couple of things real quick. I just want to let everybody know that when you have an opportunity to come across our state representative and our state senator, Big John Ilg and Kirk Talbot, please give them a gracious thank you. Today I got to go to the Green Book meeting, and so we're asking for a lot of help for Harahan this year. A little over, right at about $4.9 million. It will be the biggest amount of money that the city's ever asked for from capital outlay, probably in its history, and so we're looking good. We know we got about a little over $2 million, or right at $2 million on House Bill 1, right at about $4 million on House Bill 2, and a lot of that will come into place to remodel and redo our entire sewer plant, bring it up to code, make it energy efficient and more environmentally friendly, as well as do some street repairs that we so desperately need, and some other infrastructure needs that we'll need throughout the city. They've been incredibly gracious to us, and to see it on the Green Book and be at the Green Book meeting with all the other Jefferson Parish officials today it just made me very proud to be able to work with a group like Jefferson Parish and a group like our state representative and our state senator. And to put a few things in reference, the parish president said today that Jefferson Parish is by far the biggest economic driver in the state of Louisiana. No one comes even close to Harahan, to Jefferson Parish. Harahan being a part of that, because we break sales tax records every single month. This February will be better than last February. This March will be better than every March prior to it. The city is doing incredibly good. I'm really proud. I'm proud to work with this team up here. I'm proud to work with my former team. Councilman Johnston is here earlier, and I can't tell you, him and I have had an incredible workmanship, and Councilman Wheeler as well. And again, we will just move that forward into this council, because they have still been an integral part of working with us, and except this time, instead of the $800 a month they were getting, which should be something done about that eventually, they're working for free. And so it's incredible to see that part of our community come together like it has, because this city will only win as a team. We will not win the way we used to do things here. Hatfield, McCoy Town, the constant infighting and clown shows that were on TV, no one will ever want to be a part of that story again. We have become a true success story that people want to be involved with, and it's been great to be a part of that. I know that, let's talk about Sedgefield real fast. I know that some people showed up today to talk about Sedgefield this morning. I don't know, I think there's a fake profile being put out on Facebook that is just baiting y'all into misinformation. So please, my cell phone number is 504-343-7762. No one's going to give you better information than what I can give you. So if you have any questions, I do not mind you calling me. Whether it be fussing, whether to say great job, it doesn't matter. That is my job. You are my boss, and I work for you guys. I am a true public servant, and I'm proud of that. So we'll talk about Sedgefield. The revocation of the home office permit has begun. So she will. I have also talked to the applicant. She will be coming to the council to ask for a rezone. She has that right to come do that. So she will have an opportunity to reach out. Everyone here will have a chance to have their voice heard, including her. And she is going to reach out to the community shortly, because maybe she believes there's just a lot of misunderstanding and a lot of misinformation about what she is doing there. And maybe if she had an opportunity to show you guys what she's doing, maybe you'll be a little bit more open to allowing it or not. But everyone has an opportunity to due process. You do as well as she does. And so that's where we're at with the Sedgefield situation at this moment. So that being said, Madam Clerk.
approval of minutes, reconsideration of the minutes from the December 20th, 2022 special meeting.
Okay, so we have a motion for reconsideration of a meeting of the minutes from the December 2022 second. We have a dispense with, we want to read through this?
No, we need discussion on it.
Okay, got it. Let's go.
So we've got there's an issue with the minutes. This is the meeting where we amended the budget at the end of last year. So one of the things that was missing in that, the intention on the fire budget was to put those funds in capital so that the mayor and the fire chief can spend it without coming back to the council to put it into a specific capital item. So I would just ask that we amend the minutes from December, and let me find the page here, to add the specific line item that the finance department needs to actually put those funds there. I'm on page 8 of the packet, towards the bottom. Let me know when y'all get there. There's a bunch of numbered comments. It says, towards the middle of the page, I guess, says Tom Buddy is number 47, comment number 47, Tommy Buddy. Everybody sees that?
On page 8,
That's what my page says.
6.
Oh, page 6.
page 6, I'm there.
Okay. So there where it says, Councilman Asbill made a motion to amend line 691, column N, fire sales tax fund transfers out to capital, and line 794, column N, capital fund transfers in from fire sales tax fund to increase both lines from $43,954 to $418,954. There should also be an additional sentence in there, and amend line capital fund, what is that called? Capital fund, fire department capital expenses, which is line item 341-4-113-68400. Basically, the finance department needed that specific line item so they could put the money in that line item, so that it's all kosher to spend. And this is something that was the intention of my amendment, and it's something we discussed at length during the meeting that, and both I and Todd Turnion went back and watched the minutes, and we did discuss that was the intention of the amendment.
We'll talk about it. So we have a motion by Councilman Asbill to amend the minutes.
Question. I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I think I know the answer, but I want to ask you. Why are we moving $418,954 to capital? What is the reason? Is that for the new fire truck? What is the reason?
No, so that's the.
Because I wasn't on the council that was here, but I did try to make some of the meetings.
Yeah, so that's the additional funds that have come in. That's kind of the additional funds that have come in from the sales tax that the fire department has some immediate needs. So we're increasing that line item by $375 to spend down some of those funds because they had excess sales tax collection than what was anticipated.
Can I ask you, what are the immediate needs?
There's medical equipment, there's hoses, nozzles. It's a laundry list of things that he gave us back in December. But no matter what it is, he's still got to come to the mayor for approval for it. He just doesn't have to come to the council and go through the 3-month process. He goes through the 1-week process through the mayor, hopefully.
When this moves to this here, the fire department will come to the mayor, and the mayor will make the decision to approve or disapprove. It wouldn't come back to the council.
That's fine.
If we don't make this line item, if he wanted to go out and buy new hose, he'd have to come back to the
Every time.
council
Council, right.
every time.
No, I just wanted to know what the
And that's a
money was
2-month process.
for. I'd just like to know what the money's for.
Yeah, and
It's a lot of money, that's what I'm asking.
I mean, and the mayor can give that discussion to us. When he gets this line, when they make the request to him, he could call any of us at any time and run it past us, but he doesn't have to.
but he does.
But I do. I
He
do
does.
anyway. And when it's any kind of substantial spending, I immediately reach out to two
But at the
councilmen and get
same
opinions.
note, if they come in and ask him for something for $6,000 that he knows we need, he doesn't
Right,
have
I
to
get
come to us and go through the 2-month process.
I
He can say,
have-
okay, we need this for the fire department.
I get it.
Doesn't the fire department have a line item for capital projects?
Yes, and that's what this is,
And
that's what
what's
we're
going
putting
for
this
you,
in.
increasing that up to the,
Correct.
So does-
we
No, the
wouldn't increase
correction,
it.
I think the capital item was already increased.
That's right. The
What
the
you're doing-
transfer into the capital was already increased. We
Right.
didn't put it in the fire line item.
So
Right.
That's what we're
Fire
doing.
This is
line
what
item-
we're doing to make sure
Okay.
it stays in the fire line item, doesn't get lost in the rest of the capital fund.
All right.
Got it.
It still needs mayor approval. It does not come back to the council for approval.
I understand.
I'm fine with that too.
I understand.
Yeah, I'm good.
Right, just to,
I mean, everything else in capital comes back to the council.
Right.
Yeah, and my only comment is, that wasn't my recollection. I'm not going to say that wasn't. We had a lot of discussion.
Yeah, so-
And I don't remember in great detail, but that's a lot of money for the council to approve an expenditure on.
So I will say, in transparency, Mr. Buddy, you did vote against that, that situation the last time.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure you noticed that, and if you wanted to keep your vote the same.
We're only amending the minutes, correct?
We only
Correct.
amended.
Yeah, we're only amending the
The vote
minutes.
stays the same.
Okay.
right, right. And the purpose of this as well is the minutes as written do not include the budget line item for the expense account for the fire department. And so this amendment puts approval of this change, of the reconsideration, puts $375,000 in expense in the capital project fund for the fire department. Puts that in these minutes that were in the approved budget. A vote against this or not considering this change would not allow the fire department, or would not have $375,000 budgeted for fire department expenses.
Is there a list of needs
There
that's
is.
available?
There is, and the list exceeded the 375. He actually came asking for 450 or something like that, but the council was comfortable at the time with 375. I can get you, and I'll get you the list.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
But this would increase it to the 4.
This would increase it to 418. There was already 49 something.
Yeah, there was a small number, 40,000, that was
43.
already budgeted.
I'll move the amendment to the minutes.
So we have a motion by Councilman Asbill to amend the minutes. That's a
Yep.
tongue twister.
All right.
As stated. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Chatelain. All in favor?
Yeah.
Wait, you have to open it up for,
Oh, yeah, I'm lying to you. So anybody want to come speak about the amendment of the minutes, please come forward. No one want to come speak forward? We'll now close address to council. All in favor?
Yeah.
nay.
All right, 5 yeas, 0 nays.
No.
1 nay.
Of 4 yeas, 1 nay, minutes are amended. Madam
And
Clerk.
Mayor, just
Go ahead.
one point to add. One item that we learned from this is, for me to pay attention, and others, as we do budget amendments that impact the budget, I'll follow up to have more specific line items, account numbers, et cetera, so that it's clear within the minutes what the intent of the council is.
Thank you, thank you.
Excuse me. I'd like to amend the agenda to add new business number 4,
Okay,
St. Rita Food Fest and Auto Show.
thank you. We have a motion on the floor by Councilman Asbill to amend,
Nope.
Councilman Chatelain to amend new business number 4 to add St. Rita's Dad's Club,
Food Fest Auto Show.
the Food Fest Auto Show to add to the agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we're now open for public hearing. Someone even comes speak forth about the amendment. No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. We have a motion by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Asbill. All in favor?
Yeah.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Agenda is amended.
Want to move to amend the agenda to add new business number 5, third annual Harahan Music and Food Festival, third annual Harahan Music Festival and Food Drive.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor by Councilman Asbill to amend the agenda to add new business number 5, third annual Harahan Music Festival and Food Drive. We'll now open for public hearing.
This is just to add it to the.
Hold on,
We
we're
just
not-
added it
we're
to the
not doing it
agenda.
yet.
We just, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So no one coming to speak forth. We'll now close public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Ricks. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Agenda is amended for new business number 5. Madam Clerk?
Reading of the minutes of the special meeting on February 10th, 2023.
Can I have a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Chatelain. We'll now open for public hearing. Anybody want to come speak forth on dispensing with the reading of the minutes? No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Reading of the minutes has been dispensed. Madam Clerk?
Approval of the minutes of the special meeting on February 10th,
Can I have a
2023.
motion to approve those amendments? Motion by Councilman Riggs. Second by Councilman Asbill. We're now open for public hearing. No one want to speak forth about the approval of the minutes. We'll close public hearing. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk, those minutes are approved.
Reading of the minutes of the council meeting on February 16th, 2023.
Move to dispense.
We have a motion by Councilman Asbill to dispense with the reading of the minutes from February 16, 2023. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Chatterling. We'll now open for public hearing. No one coming to speak forth. We'll now close public hearing. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Approval of the minutes of the council meeting on February 16th, 2023.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilman Ricks to approve those minutes. We'll now open for public hearing. Anyone want to come speak forth about the approval of those minutes? No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Those minutes are approved, Madam Clerk.
No communications, resolutions. Proposed resolution number 2023-1. The following resolution was offered unanimously by the council of the city of Harahan. A resolution accepting the municipal water pollution prevention environmental audit report for the period of January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2022, and to inform the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality that the following actions were taken and additional actions will be taken by the city of Harahan.
All right, anyone want to come forward to speak about proposed resolution 2022-3, please come forward. No one coming forward. We'll now close public hearing. Council discussion.
I would like some discussion as to what action we're saying we're going to take. And it looks like it's on page 13, possibly. No, that's under construction for the next 5 years. Is that the reference to what actions we're going to take?
Upgrade lift station panels, replace Station 8, replace Station 9.
Mayor, is it possible we can defer this, because we just got this tonight, and we'd like to look over it until next meeting, if that doesn't cause any problems?
Okay. So we have a motion by Councilman Johnson to
Does it
defer.
cause any reporting
Yeah, is there a
problems
reporting
before we,
deadline?
like, is there a certain day this
Is
has
there
to
a
be
certain
turned
date?
in? Anybody know?
Not sure.
Not sure, okay. I'm good with the
I
first.
think we have time, though. I think
Yeah,
it's like end of March,
If
well,
not-
April.
If not, we can call a special meeting.
Okay.
Because we don't want to
We
be late.
should have time.
Okay, so we have
We should be
a
all
motion to
Defer.
defer a proposed resolution 2022-1 by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Buddy. We'll now open for public hearing. Anybody want to come speak forth about the deferral? No one coming forth. We'll close public hearing. All in favor to defer?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk,
Read it out.
proposed resolution is deferred.
Proposed resolution 2023-3. The following resolution was offered by Councilman Asbill. A resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Harahan to enter into a lease agreement with PNC Bank National Association on behalf of the fire department for a new fire truck.
Okay, well, now for public hearing, anybody want to come speak on proposed resolution number 2023-3? Please come forward. No one coming forward. We'll now close public hearing. Council discussion.
So this is a resolution that the finance company, we've already allocated the money in the budget to finance the ladder truck. This is a resolution that the finance company requires of the council.
Are there details somewhere? Because I haven't seen any on the,
You should.
The lease?
It's in the packet.
I did see.
No, I don't think they are in the packet.
I seen it the other day. I didn't look at it in here, but it should be.
So, and I have a couple other questions still. This is a lease, not a finance, a purchase.
It's a lease purchase.
It's a lease purchase.
It's a
Right.
purchase.
And I'm not sure why we're doing it. Have we explored a financing arrangement? I'm just curious.
that's my question.
That's a lot. I mean, $1.4 million over 15 years is a lot of interest. And there may be savings in a lease.
It's a lease purchase, and I would have to find, I read through the paperwork when we first had it was that last month or a month before?
Let's see, when did you sign it?
I mean,
That was
January.
February.
January.
this thing refers
January?
to a lease purchase agreement, a purchase option. It refers to annual renewal by the governing body. I don't know what happens if you don't do that.
Well, that's my question, because
But the devil's in the details in the lease. It's $1.4 million. It's a lot of money.
I
So-
don't have them here.
I don't feel
I do
comfortable.
remember reading over it.
You want this, man?
The thing is we gotta do something on this, because it takes 1.5 years to build this truck.
Well, we got to do
We're
something.
talking about
Yeah.
almost 2 years to build it.
Yep. Have we explored financing with our bank?
I mean, this lease purchase is a finance through them with it.
It's a financing document.
I understand. I didn't explore to see if we get further with any other banking.
And
I think, I mean, I'm reading just one line item here. If at the end of the fiscal year, the budget has not been adopted by the governing authority, then only 50% of last year's final adopted budget is deemed to be appropriated for the current year. This 50% limitation continues until a new budget's adopted.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
normal procedure.
Yes, but I'm just saying that, you know,
The finance
Yeah,
director can
that's-
speak
Go
on
ahead,
that.
Ty.
That's
Yeah,
state law.
that's normal language that you would see typically in a lease agreement. Absent that language, it would be municipal debt, and it would require approval of the State Bond Commission. So it's fairly typical on the lease agreements, at least what we've seen, is if that annual appropriation clause is in there, it's not required to be approved by the State Bond.
did you read over this lease?
I did not, and I did have a few questions.
Like, what's the interest rate considered on this
interest
lease?
4.76%.
Yeah, the rates here is
4.6, yeah.
4.76.
Okay.
on a 15-year,
Yes.
here's the interest rates and terms. And the monthly, well, annual payments. I take it these are annual payments, correct?
Yeah, Mike, I think you're too far in your packet.
You gotta go back some more.
How far am
You
I?
gotta go back.
So, I don't have a packet, apparently.
With the 4.76 interest rate, the way this country's going, you may be paying 10% next
That's why
year.
I'm thinking lock it in.
You know, if we can lock it in, I mean, it's ridiculous. I see the interest rates going up every day. I mean, 6% for a house now.
Everything interest rates high, check your insurance.
Long-term interest rates have been downward trending.
They've been down?
Yeah.
Well, you're more
Housing-
finance guy than I am.
Mortgage rates have come down a tad bit. I'm not saying that they're not going to creep back up or continue down. But I haven't seen the lease agreement. I don't know if it's been critiqued by our attorney. I mean, the devil's in the details in the lease, and I'm not sure why we're leasing. That may be absolutely the best way to go. I don't know if we've talked to two leasing companies. This is a huge purchase.
I mean, what I can say, speaking to the lease, is that the council allocated the cost of the lease in the budget. And from there, in a normal process of the city, the mayor wouldn't need a resolution from the council to sign this contract. This is just something that the leasing company is requiring. The lease has already been signed, to be quite honest.
Correct.
We sent it in, and they said, well, we also need a resolution from the
A
council.
resolution follow state law.
Even though that's
So
not
we've already
our,
executed the lease.
even though that's not our normal processes, it's within the mayor's right to sign the contract on behalf of the city.
Well, I got to give the mayor credit and Eric Chatelain credit too, because he's the mayor pro tem. They called, I know they called me.
I called
I know they called everybody here and told them what they were doing, and if anybody objected, they should have objected then instead of coming to council meeting and discussing this issue. I thought it was a done deal and that they were going to vote and move forward on it.
I signed this because we were looking at,
I thought it was a purchase agreement, and I assumed there'd be some financing. So I didn't,
you assumed what? I'm sorry.
that there'd be
There'll be some
financing.
financing.
Now, a lease agreement is a form of finance.
It's a finance
lease
with a-
purchase,
it's a
depending
lease
on what the
purchase.
purchase terms say. Again,
I mean, this is
and I did
basically,
get a call.
it's a tax exempt lease purchase.
I'm sorry, what was that?
It's a tax exempt lease purchase.
Do you
Yeah.
have this document?
It's
Mr. Mayor?
tax exempt because the city doesn't pay
City
tax.
doesn't pay tax.
Does he
Right.
have this document?
This one, you should have it with this resolution.
But I mean, we haven't had the city attorney or an attorney review the lease.
So here.
I mean, honestly, I thought we did this
Well,
in January.
I thought it was all done like that.
No, this isn't the lease.
No.
This is not the lease. This is 2 pages. The lease is
All it is
probably,
is the agreement.
the lease is
agreement.
probably 30
No,
pages.
this is just a lease agreement with the interest rate and stuff with the.
Yeah, there's a
Monthly
lease, well, I'm sorry, we're approving a lease with these this resolution. We're approving a lease, but nobody's seen it, apparently, and it's not executed.
And I would like to say that I know that we had discussions in regards to this, but like Tom said, we hadn't seen a copy of the lease, and we just want to be sure that that lease is,
Then I would propose we pass this resolution so we can get a copy of that lease, and the mayor brings it to the council to see before he signs it. Because, I mean, look,
You could get a copy of a lease before you authorize the execution.
well, sure, but we can't get it tonight.
No.
And this isn't authorizing execution, no. This is just authorizing me to do the execution, correct?
Correct.
Correct. This isn't authorizing the execution of a lease. This is authorizing me to do the execution.
But we may have already authorized a transaction. I mean,
We
we
may
may be
have.
locked into a transaction.
We may have.
And the document that we executed says appears to say we're paying in full, upfront, on $1.4 million acquisition of a piece of equipment, which I would never advise anybody to do. If you have issues with production, they're holding all your money. Your leverage is gone. So, anyway,
well, I
I
think,
have a question. What's the difference between the police department leasing vehicles and the fire department being able to lease a vehicle?
there is no difference, we just haven't seen the lease. So,
I believe the other one sent you the lease to review, didn't they,
I
Buddy?
think the primary difference right now is that the fire department has it in their budget to do it. The police department does not currently have it in the budget.
right.
I mean, fundamentally, it's a financing transaction.
Well, I understand that.
How ownership reverts to the city, if it does, is subject to the provisions of the lease. But I just don't think it's prudent to authorize a lease until I know what I'm authorizing.
Are you concerned, Councilman Buddy, that, like when you lease a car, at the end of your 3-year lease, you have a payout, or you return it? Is that
Yes,
payout, is that what you're concerned about?
I'm concerned with that type of issue.
Right.
And the devil's in the details. It's a binding legal document, and it can say a lot of different things. And it refers to a purchase option. On line 44, the lease shall contain such option to purchase as set forth therein. Well, what is that option? Is it zero? Is it $500,000? It may be zero. This may be a perfectly good, fair proposed transaction. It's $1.4 million, and we're paying them up front. So,
And you have 22 to 23 months for the delivery.
and they don't guarantee that. I mean, and unfortunately, I understand why they would say that.
I get it.
But we can't rely on a 22 to 23-month delivery schedule.
So I believe we had this discussion in January. We discussed that the truck wouldn't be here for 2 years. And, I mean, basically, this here is approving the mayor to look through the lease and sign it. If you want to ask the mayor, I will be supporting this resolution. If you want to ask the mayor to sit down with you before he sits down and signs this agreement,
I'm going to sit down with everybody before I sign this
I think
agreement.
that's fine. But I'm going to support this resolution because it's basically just giving the mayor authorization to sign it.
Which he doesn't need.
He doesn't have to sign it.
He doesn't need our authorization to sign it either.
Yeah, I don't need your authorization,
know,
but
I
the
know,
company's
but I-
asking for it.
I know.
Yes, sir.
I had two questions. One is Section 5 of the resolution. I guess, Jason, can you just clarify, I guess,
Yep.
what this means? It says the municipality anticipates to issue, are we issuing bonds to finance this, or is it leased through PNC Bank? I guess I'm asking some
No, I
questions
don't know
about
of no
Section
bond
5.
issuance of this, no. There's no bond issuance of this. No.
Well, it's envisioning one. We're obligating ourselves well, not obvious, which reasonably anticipates, and that's a possibility. If we looked at a bond for a mill 4, would it save us money? I don't know what,
Shall I delete that? So this is,
I'm just asking the question.
yeah, so
you know.
this is a form resolution that the company sent. I think maybe we can either amend it to say that we have, we reasonably anticipate tax revenue to,
I think we need to be careful with some of that
Okay.
language. There's a reason why the previous section where it says that it's subject to annual appropriation, you know,
Okay.
in section 4. That's there for a reason. I'm just asking the question. I honestly don't know what the answer is for section 5.
yeah, I don't either.
In the details of this transaction, but the way it reads now, it seems to indicate there's some bonds issued. And then my second question was just, in other instances, maybe not every single one, but if we purchase items under state contract or something like that, we at least put the state contract number in the resolution or the ordinance if we have it. I know a fire truck is unique, they're not all the same, but just asking if we purchased it under state contract, if we can put that state contract number in there.
Yeah, is that not in here?
It may be there and I missed it.
I didn't see it.
I don't know.
It may be there, but I didn't see it.
I don't think it's in there.
Those were my two questions.
So, yeah, it is a state contract truck.
So,
It's actually the HGAC contract. So,
I moved it before.
I just found that helpful, you
Yeah.
know, if we know it and have it, if we can put that in the,
I know time is of the essence.
I'll move to amend Resolution 2023-3 to delete Section 5 and replace it with new Section 5, which would state,
So you deleting the whole section?
deleting the whole section, replacing it with a new Section 5, which would state the purchase of this vehicle is subject to the Houston-Galveston Area Council, what is it called? Cooperative Purchasing Agreement.
Which council? Which?
Houston-Galveston Area Council.
Is there a reason we're doing that and not
Yes, sir.
Louisiana?
Yes, sir. It's a lower fee. It's a flat fee on all their contracts rather than a percentage-based fee like the state of Louisiana state contracts.
So you have a motion?
Yes.
So we have a motion by Councilman Asbill as stated. We're now for public hearing. Anyone who wants to speak forth on that motion can please come forward. No one coming forward. We'll now close public hearing. Do I have a second on that motion?
Can we have council discussion real quick?
Okay, go ahead.
So this is, if we go under the Houston Galveston Council, it's a flat rate, no percentage?
That's right. It's a flat rate fee on all of their purchasing contracts. It's not a percentage base like the Louisiana state contract
Is it?
is. And this is something that, we already approved the council and the city to use the HGAC contract.
I
We did
remember
that
that.
sometime last year or the year before. And so this is, the salesman for Siddons Martin's recommended that this was the cheaper way to do it rather than Louisiana state contract.
Do those contracts, state-level contracts, have they have any sort of negotiated price for what you're buying in it? I know with vehicles, there's normally a price. These things are very complex.
Yeah, so
Fire truck, very
it's the
complex,
same
lot of
as, the vehicles where there's a standard price. The only negotiation is where you have some allowable add-ons to that vehicle to customize it for your locality or whatever. And I know that they've done some customization for the locality and
So
worked on
normally
that.
those stated price contracts are good for a period of time. So if we would have taken an extra week or 2 or 3 weeks, there would be a window where there's no cost increases in a state-type contract. I mean, that's how it works with vehicles, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. Point being that if we need a week or two to figure this out, I don't know that it would cost us anything.
You mentioned earlier that we signed,
Yeah, it's
Eric, you signed the contract already, I mean, you signed the agreement already?
on January 26th.
So when is our first payment due?
So your first payment is due, your first payment is due 1 year after signing of the contract, which was January 26th, so the payment would be due January 26th. We actually allocated it for this budget year for the $66,000. And then you would start your other payments at, what is it, 139. Those would start at the delivery of the truck. So those wouldn't start for another year and a half.
Right. Okay, well, the lease is signed. We got to move forward. I mean, we can have, the mayor's going to sign it, if, could get with the city attorney, let the city attorney look over, if he has any questions on it, but we've already signed the lease, so we just
The
need to
lease is
move.
signed.
We just need to move forward on this,
I agree.
so.
So I'll
But
move my
wait a minute,
amendment.
the
I'll
lease
move
is
my
not
amendment.
signed. The lease purchase
You signed
agreement
it.
is not signed.
You signed it.
I mean, it may be, I'm not sure.
I signed it.
You signed this document, this one page,
January 12, 2023.
but that, is it the one-page document?
You signed
3
it.
pages I signed.
Yeah, that's not a lease. That's a proposal.
Okay, for now, to keep the meeting clean, I'll move my amendment so that we can go back to the main discussion. So I move
I'll
my
second.
amendment for a vote.
I'll second the amendment.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Asbell, second by Councilman Chatelain, to delete Section 5 and add,
Replace section 5.
replace Section 5. Okay. Subject to
Question,
the cooperative-
question, I'm not, look, I'm ready to move forward, Eric, but city attorney, is that, you feel comfortable taking something from Galveston and using that as a, for us in Harahan in Louisiana? I mean,
We
that
discussed.
should be no problem. Okay, I just
We
wanted to ask.
discussed it in January. You know.
Okay.
I'm not saying it was right.
So,
I'm saying
so
we
I'll,
discussed it.
I'll provide,
I just wanted to ask.
I'll provide some more information on that because we did this last year. This, the Houston Galveston Area Council meets or exceeds the state of Louisiana purchasing requirements. And the state of Louisiana public purchasing law, what is it, procurement law, allows you to use other areas' purchasing agreements and purchasing power as well. And this is open to all the departments of the city, not just the fire department.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor
Take a
and a
look at
second.
HVAC.
Well, now for public hearing, anyone want to speak forth on a motion? No one coming forth
This
on
is
that?
just on the
Public hearing.
amendment.
Yes.
It's on amendment. All in favor of amending proposed ordinance 2023-3?
Yay.
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 Is that 5 yeas?
Yes, sir.
5 yeas.
5 yeas, 0 nays on the amendment. Madam Clerk, please note. Council discussion?
I mean, I remember discussing the Houston, Galveston stuff in January. I couldn't tell you details. I mean, I'm hoping my
I'm
colleagues
good with it.
accurate with what he's saying.
Didn't we just vote?
But I remember the
We
discussion.
just voted to
yes.
amend.
Okay.
And so now we'll vote on the proposed resolution
Well,
2023-3.
let's
Discuss it.
discuss it some more.
Okay.
I'm looking at an executed proposal. It's not a lease, it's not a purchase. We've committed to buy this vehicle, fire truck. Although there's no attachment saying what we're getting, not sure what we're buying. It's $1.4 million. The executed document,
So what we're getting is on the first page is a Pierce Custom Impel Aerial 107-foot.
I'm sorry, sir, say again?
What we're getting is on the first page. It says description. It's a Pierce Custom Impel 107-foot aerial truck.
But it's custom. So you must have a 12-page addendum.
Do you want to see all the specs of it?
No, I'm asking.
That's, well, what do you want me to?
I'm asking is,
He wants to know what we're buying, and I would like to know,
and to tie it to the agreement that's signed.
I would like to know why we need a 107-foot aerial ladder, period. That's what I would like to know.
You'd have to ask the fire chief.
Well, I'd love to ask the fire chief who's not here, as usual.
Wow. There's other times to do that as well.
Do we want,
And I would say if you don't ask the fire chief, the mayor should be able to either answer it or get you the answer. as well.
So
I
Councilman,
know that I've asked the fire chief, he's explained it to me, but I'm not going to attempt to relay his explanation, because I'm sure I'll get it wrong, because I'm not the subject matter expert
I'll
on
attempt to
fire trucks.
explain, a little bit the way I understood it. A boom truck like this helps us on labor. They could get the truck up and above the houses, above the structure, and pump the water down into the building direct. Of course, we all know we don't have a 100-foot building we need to get anybody out of in Harahan. But when you park on the street and the building's 20 foot off the street, so you got 20-foot reach up, you're 30 feet. If you want to get to a structure in the backyard, that's why we're going to 100-foot.
yeah, you're 50 feet, easy.
Makes sense.
So this is, I don't understand, and this is, so this is a proposal that we signed. Does the proposal lock us into the purchase, or is the lease agreement that you're going to give me the authority in this resolution that we will get, lock us into the agreement?
I think the lease agreement you would sign would lock us into the agreement. I'm not saying
This is a
that
proposal, not a lease agreement.
this proposal here locks them in to these rates
Okay.
to save this.
So the proposal
we can-
locks in the rates, and now we need a lease agreement to lock in the sale.
Now, I think,
I think the proposal has locked us into the truck.
Okay,
yeah, I think we've accepted a proposal to
fine with it
buy
either
this
way.
vehicle
let's go. I'm good
for
with it
the
either
amount
way.
stated,
Perfect.
for either cash
They-
or,
Yeah, they've put this truck on the list to build.
Got it. Okay, that's it. I'm good.
have they confirmed that? Has there been some confirmation that they've put it into production?
Oh,
I know it's on the list to build, that's why it was signed on that date. Because they wanted to get it on the build
So-
list, because it is,
So
again,
the vehicle purchase
it
is
is a-
locked in.
it is a year and a half out. Yes, the vehicle purchase is locked in.
And the finance company, I guess PNC, the bank, the lease company,
The rate is locked in for some period.
I don't think it's a bad rate for a commercial vehicle.
Did this council last year approve 3-story buildings to be built along the levee? Did y'all approve
Yes,
something?
we removed the height
So
requirement.
you got,
The
the
height limit.
107 foot, you're going to have, right now, the highest is 45 feet. So you may have 55 feet.
Oh,
And like
sure.
Eric said, to get the thing over the house, to get the, it's important to have, it helps the rating too. It helps our rating with the rating people. I mean, we are 3 right now, we were at 2. We're fighting to get back to a 2. The more equipment they have, the better off we are to work with.
I don't
think we need-
disagree.
Yeah, no one
I
up
don't
here
disagree, and I don't think anybody up here disagrees. We just want the details of the purchase. It's a lot of money. That's all we're saying.
Well, I thought he did all that already. I thought that was already done. Last year, y'all met during the year, y'all talked about this fire truck all last year. It was discussed, and I thought everything was pretty well understood, what we were getting.
I wasn't here last
I
year.
know you weren't. I wasn't here either. But, we know they discussed it.
last year we discussed, you're correct, we discussed the purchase of a ladder truck. And it was general agreement, if not
About to.
council approval. The issue is, it's $1.4 million transaction, a finance document, and we don't know what it is. We don't know what it says. We committed to the purchase in advance of understanding that mechanism. We know the interest rate. We know the annual payments. I don't know if anybody's checked them. I assume they're correct.
I move for the vote to adopt the resolution.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Chatelain, to proceed with the vote for a proposed resolution 2023-3 on getting the paperwork and the lease agreement in from PNC Bank for the mass signature. All in favor?
Wait,
Yeah.
excuse me, Mayor, what was your last sentence?
For the mass signature, because I have to ultimately, this is only giving, you guys are giving me the approval to get the lease in for me to sign. So we have 4 yeas, and we're waiting on your vote, Mr. Buddy.
No, you don't have a yay from me. I got
So
a
we
nay.
got 3 yeas, a 1 nay, and your vote. So, it's up to you.
It's on you.
There's a motion to vote.
What's your vote?
Yep.
Right now, it's 3-1.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear the vote.
Yeah, nay. So you got 3 yeas and 2 nays.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, proposed resolution passes.
Ordinances for approval. Proposed ordinance number 2022-24. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill and seconded by Councilman, who wants it? Who needs it?
Councilman Buddy, would you like to second this one? This is the policies that was, that you had a hand in.
I will second it, but I'll move to defer it because I was reading through it this afternoon, and I think it needs a few more tweaks.
Cool.
So I'd like to defer it.
So we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Buddy to defer proposed ordinance number 2022-24. We'll now
Wait,
open
You moving?
to defer.
No, I've got some amendments before we defer.
So we have this boy. Come on, let's go.
Oh, public hearing and then council discussion.
We're open for public hearing. No one coming to speak forth. We'll now close public hearing. Council discussion.
Council, I've got an amendment to the ordinance. There's 4 policies that were not submitted yet because they were not ready. So I think what we're going to do is amend out those 4 policies. We'll reintroduce them when they're ready and ready to move forward. So I move to amend to delete the words payroll, purchasing, disbursements, sexual harassment, and travel expense reimbursement.
So why don't we just defer, dude, and come back and reintroduce it?
Jason,
Because
would
if
you
we're going to
repeat?
defer the whole thing, I'm going to withdraw it. It's been on the agenda for too long. Some of it needs to get done, and we start over next month, or we move forward with what we have tonight.
Would you repeat the ones you're taking off? I'm sorry.
Payroll, purchasing, disbursement, sexual harassment, and travel expense reimbursement.
What sections did you have?
Alternatively, council, if you prefer me to withdraw the ordinance altogether, we can start over next month.
I mean, I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt Councilman. It's just good.
Okay, Madam Clerk, withdraw the ordinance.
Okay, so we have, Councilman Asbill has made a decision to withdraw proposed ordinance number 2022-24. Madam Clerk will continue on to propose ordinance number 2023-3.
Make a motion. You got to vote on it.
Can I just
Make a
ask you
motion on
question?
withdrawing the ordinance.
There's no
we're not
there's no
gonna
vote
withdraw
on
it.
withdrawal.
He says
No,
withdrawing the ordinance.
I was just asking a question as to what things he
City attorney.
had questions about or
Vote on withdrawal.
tweaks about before you withdraw.
Which we,
At this point, we've been working on certain councilmen's tweaks for over 4 months now, and
we'll just withdraw it. Go back
Which
to the
certain
drawing board and
councilman's
start
been
from scratch.
tweaking this for 4 months?
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Better
I was
way
just
to do
asking.
it.
we don't need Councilman Johnson.
Councilman Esco, I met with Todd once, about 2-3 weeks ago.
Some of the delay, and we,
That was really uncalled for, Councilman. Really uncalled for.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Johnson, we don't need a vote to withdraw. The council
You
just,
can't take anything off the agenda unless the council approves to take it off the agenda. You can't just say withdraw something. And one of the mayors did that before. She couldn't do that.
you can,
got-
the council member who,
City attorney,
the council member who introduced the ordinance can withdraw it. Yes, sir.
you have to vote with the council to withdraw something from the agenda. This agenda's printed in the paper, it's advertised. For you to take anything off the agenda, it's got to be done by a vote of the council.
No, sir.
Well, I disagree with you.
City Attorney, you want to chime in on this one?
I'll need to look at it just to make sure.
Well, we'll take a second just to make sure if you got a second.
Because, you're saying because you introduced the ordinance, you can withdraw it?
Yes, sir. It would have the same effect as of me taking my name off the ordinance.
I don't believe we could withdraw it. Only he could withdraw it.
I don't know if you
So
can.
I have a question to consider. I'd like an answer to if maybe, Scott, if you can answer it. If it's withdrawn, can that be put back on the agenda within a year?
Correct. It can be.
Okay, then,
The only way it has to sit out for a year is if it's voted down, correct?
so, what was that, sir?
If it's sat out, if it's voted down,
Okay.
it has to sit a year. If it's withdrawn, it can be redrafted and put back on the next agenda.
My comment is I'll be happy to vote to withdraw it because I'll put it on the agenda again. So I'll meet with Todd, we'll put it on the agenda because Todd thinks we need it. So,
If we're not 100%, let's just call for a vote to withdraw it.
That's all you got to do.
right.
All right, so we have a motion by Councilman Asbill.
No, I think you're setting bad precedent by doing that, because it's not required. I don't want
Like
to
I
set
said, I'm
that
not an
precedent.
attorney. You're an attorney, I'm not. But I know I've never done that.
The only reason I know this is because I did the research when we did the water bill fee to withdraw it. I did the research on it then. And that is the proper way to do it, is to, in fact, you shouldn't even really once you decide to withdraw it, you shouldn't even open the council or the public hearing on it.
Like I say, I've never done that in my 26 years on the council or mayor, so maybe you can do it, but I've never seen it done.
I'll make a motion for a 5-minute recess.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Chatterley for a 5-minute recess, second by Councilman Asbill. All in favor? It is 7:33. Madam Clerk? We have a motion by Councilman, we have a withdrawal request by Councilman Asbill. City Attorney has advised us that we need a second on that withdrawal. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Well, second by Mr. Tom Buddy. All right, now, do we have to vote if we need a second?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, so proposed ordinance 2022-24 has been withdrawn. Madam Clerk.
Proposed ordinance number 2022-3. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill and seconded by Councilman Ricks. An ordinance amending ordinance number 1955 to reduce the authorized amount from the ARPA fund for Lift Station 8 rehabilitation.
Okay, anyone want to come speak on proposed ordinance number 2023-3, please come to the podium. No one coming forth. We'll close public hearing. Council discussion?
So spoke to the auditors about this, and Todd about this ordinance, and it's not allowed, cannot reimburse federal funds, so I'm withdrawing that ordinance as well.
Okay, can I have a second on that withdrawal?
Sorry.
Second by Councilman Ricks.
Asbill, could you repeat that,
You
please?
you can't use federal funds to reimburse other funds or reimburse federal funds for ARPA funds or whatever we were trying to do in this ordinance. We confirmed that with the auditors, and so we've got to withdraw this ordinance.
Well, that still leaves us with the problem that we've authorized the ARPA funds for the full amount. I mean,
We have, and the ARPA funds are going to pay the full amount. The funds from the DRC are going to go to a different project that the mayor is going to bring up at some point.
DRC.
It's the DRA.
That too was reimbursed.
Delta Regional.
Yeah, DRA, I apologize.
I mean, because I was going to make a motion to defer this anyway,
No, can't defer. Councilman Asbill's right what he's saying.
until we have the funds.
Councilman Asbill's right on what he's saying. So we have a motion to withdraw by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Ricks. Or proposed ordinance is withdrawn. I can come back and I can give you some explanation on that if you like. If not, we move on.
Well, I'd like to get up to speed, but I can do that one-on-one.
Yes, sir. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Proposed ordinance number 2023-5. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Chatelain and seconded by Councilman, who wants it? Asbill. An ordinance amending the Harahan Code of Ordinances, Chapter 90, Article 2, Division 3,
This is
discharge regulations relative to illegal discharges, fat, oil, and grease control devices, and waste haulers which service them.
Okay, so we'll now open public hearing. Anyone want to speak on proposed ordinance number 2023-5? And just for the public's record, this is about really strengthening our grease trap ordinances to stop restaurants from putting grease into our sewer system. No one coming to speak forth. We'll now close public hearing. Council discussion.
Mr. Buddy, I know we met a couple days ago with Molly, the regulatory director. I know she got some stuff back to you. Were you satisfied with what she got back to
She
you?
did, and we spoke this afternoon. I made some comments on that. We spoke this afternoon, and she further clarified what she's trying to accomplish. And she agreed it would be better to defer this and do a little better job on the amendments she already proposed. So I'd like to defer.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Buddy to defer proposed ordinance 2023-5. Do I have a second?
Can I have a discussion first?
Yes.
So, just so the public understands, we take this ordinance, and it's basically Jefferson Parish, and a lot of different parishes and municipalities do this. We don't have the code enforcement staff here to do exactly what the parish and stuff does. So we modifying the ordinance a little bit to accommodate us, so we have the manpower to handle this. It hasn't been enforced in Harahan, as far as I know, ever. Board of Health does come in when a new restaurant comes in, and they verify and make sure you have grease traps. and they do their annual inspections, but they don't do an inspection to follow up to make sure you're getting them cleaned and all of that. If they're really bad, it's obvious, but, so I'll second that deferral until we finish getting our verbiage straight, and just wanted to let the public know
And I'd like
where we
to
stood on
comment,
it.
the parish is an extremely efficient run organization. They've got a lot of good folks, and we go to them often when we want to create an ordinance. We go to the parish, to Kenner, larger municipalities to get a draft document, something to start with, a template. And there are times when we can look at their document and not only save time and do a better job using it as a template, we can actually make improvements to the process. So our regulatory director has done a great job helping move this along and making a draft document for us. And we're going to get a really good product out of it. And we've recently, I believe, had a problem with the restaurant due to a deficient grease trap where we were getting overflow into the drainage system.
Sewer system.
This will allow the city regulatory department, the city, to manage those deficient situations.
So the problem is, he's right, it backs up the sewer system, which causes the sewer to overflow into the drainage system, which gives us two flaws.
Right.
Right. So we're deferring?
But we're going to end up with a good product, and it'll take another month, but we haven't had a good product ever, so.
Especially with the booming restaurant culture that we're having here, that's been kind of the problem. We're having so many restaurants come through now, and what happens in a grease trap is that there's certain baffles, and at one baffles make to hold the grease while the water flows over the what can go into the sewer system, water flows over the baffle into the sewer system like it's supposed to. The grease is actually supposed to be held and be pumped out once a month. Most of our traps here are not code or even close to what good code should be. And what happened is that grease is actually making its way over that baffle and getting into the sewer lines and blocking them up. And then ultimately, it creates such a bottleneck that it explodes. It will come through and jam such a hard pressure, and then we've already had quite a few grease spills from sewer lines in the middle of commercial corridors. So that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to make sure that we're protecting our sewer system, because that's also an economic driver. If your toilets don't flush, nobody's coming here to build a business, as well as just making sure restaurants are compliant as our restaurant community continues to grow. Just a small explanation, Madam Clerk.
But Tim,
Oh, so we motioned, did we
I got
defer?
a question.
Good.
For Section 9093 for penalties, what if it's a repeat offender? Is it the same cost? Is there an increase in the fine for a
I would believe,
second?
yes, and then ultimately, we'll yank their business license and probably their liquor license and get the Board of Health involved. So I would imagine that the end fine would be shutting them down completely.
Because it refers to imprisonment, too.
Well, that's when you go out there and you go
Right.
tase them.
Well, I understand
It'll
that.
take a while to get
Yeah.
to
But I mean, if they violate it the first time and they do it again, is it still the same fine?
Well,
Or
the second time, we're going to make...
Does it double?
Second time's like just a one taser.
We'll work
The
on
third
that
time,
with Molly.
two tasers.
Puts that. We'll make sure Molly puts that in the ordinance as she amended.
So, as I understand it, and I think Councilman Asbill is very close to, if not a subject matter expert on that, a lot of these fine amounts and procedures are controlled by the state. I don't know if this one is.
I couldn't hear the second part, what you said. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I was relying on my voice. I'm sorry. I believe you had, on the city's behalf, some experience where we will learn that some of these fines, the amounts and the details are controlled by state law.
Oh, yes, sir.
And what Councilman Asbill, as I recall, advised us of in the past from his research, was that the best thing we could do was put that the fine notice for once is effectively an everyday event. So if somebody's noticed one time and they don't fix it, and it takes them a week, then it could be 7 days of fines. Now, about cumulative or increased fines for second and third events, I'm not sure there's any reason why we couldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think this sets the maximum fine at $500, which is the state allowed maximum for municipalities to enforce at a municipal court. But I would think it would just be up to the discretion of the hearing officer, to fine them $200 the first time, $300, $400, $500 at some point.
And then tasered.
Yeah, and then, start pulling licenses and stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah. And like Mr. Buddy said, it's an automatic reoccurrence. So if you cite them on day one and it takes them 3 days to fix it, the citation on day one carries over to day two for a second citation and day three for a third citation until it's fixed.
I believe most of our restaurants are going to follow the rules and do the right thing.
Sometimes they just need a little bit of help. That's all. That's right. Excitement. All right, so we do have a motion to defer by Councilman Buddy. We opened it for public hearing. We closed that public hearing. I'm looking for a second on that deferral. Second by Councilman Chatelain. All in favor to defer?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk, proposed ordinance 2023-5 is deferred.
Just so you know, sound is back up on it.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Ordinances for introduction. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Chatelain. Proposed ordinance number 2023-6, an ordinance to place stop signs on Roseland Parkway at the intersection of Radiance Street and to place no parking signs on Roseland Parkway along the neutral ground and the 200, 300, and 400 blocks. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Johnston. Proposed ordinance number 2023-7, an ordinance amending the Harahan Code of Ordinances, Section 18-4, appearance bond fee relative to summons and traffic tickets. Old business number 1, Board of Adjustment dismissal and appointments.
All right. Any input? All right, Madam Clerk, please note for the record, there is no recommendations for dismissal or appointments at this time. Can we move on to old business number 2?
New business number 1, Todd Turnion, Finance Director, monthly financials.
Good evening again, council, citizens. Just a brief update from the finance team. We continue to work on the December 31st, 2022 closeout with the finance team, as well as the preparation of the city's annual financial statement audit. That is in process. We've responded to their request to date, and they are scheduled to continue the audit engagement in early April. I think the second week of April, they'll be out here for a few weeks. On the sales tax update, we typically receive the monthly sales tax deposit around yesterday, today, tomorrow. We have not received it yet, so I'm expecting that we'll receive it tomorrow, and we'll send it out to the mayor and to the council, so you'll have that update for the sales tax collections for the March month. We continue to work with the city staff on discussions with FEMA to obtain all the FEMA reimbursements that the city is owed. So that's an ongoing process. I'm sure the mayor can add to this, but I think there were some productive conversations over the last week or so. And then lastly, we've had a number of meetings with the police chief to assist him with his transition, answer any finance, accounting, budget-related items, and we'll continue to work with you, Chief, on any additional requests or information that you may need. With that, I'll open the floor to any questions from the council or the mayor.
I just want to ask, you said the sales tax for March, you mean the sales tax for February?
Well,
That we're going to get this
it's
month?
the February, actually, it's a 2-month lag, so
It's January
technically,
and
it's
February?
January's retail sales taxes that the retail establishments remit to the sheriff's office in February. The sheriff's office remits it to the city in March. So the cash deposit that the city receives in March has not been received yet. But it's normally around the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th. It's normally right around this window. So as I receive that, I'll send it on to the mayor and the council. We can provide an update in person next month. One more update on some items that I'd met with Mr. Buddy on. One is we had provided in the prior month or prior meeting, we had provided each of you a schedule of the available balances within the capital project fund. And And so the capital project fund has a cash balance of about 2.3 million. It goes up and down as the city spends money that the council has approved. A substantial portion of that balance is restricted, either by the granting agency, funds from the state of Louisiana. There are funds, the $250,000 that we received from Colonial last year, that is still restricted and unspent. The insurance proceeds that the city has received, over $1 million after Hurricane Ida, that is restricted. So the unrestricted portion that the city has within the capital project fund on a cash basis goes up and down between 100,000, 200,000. It will vary, again, as the video poker money comes in, as the funds are spent. But that's what the balance is that's available, unrestricted. And of that, there are some commitments that the council has already approved. So, for example, the $100,000 that's approved for the police vehicles, which hasn't been spent yet, and the ongoing repairs in the building next door, which the council approved. So anyway, just wanted to share that information. I know it was of interest of Mr. Buddy, and just wanted to share that information with the council members as well.
So Todd, to recap it, how much, an estimate, is available considering the two commitments we made this year for the police cars and the red building?
Cash in the bank, unrestricted cash in the bank within the capital project fund would be limited, less than 100,000. It would be a fairly small number.
Right. Now, it does grow slightly every month.
It grows because the city receives video poker funds. Again, that varies, but that's been high, like all the other tax revenues. That's about 40 grand a month, and that's received pretty much like clockwork. And that comes into the general fund, and we transfer it over to the capital fund.
And we also will have this grant money available for an alternative use.
Yes, there's a number of different grants. Some are state
That we cannot
grants.
use on the lift station. The money we discussed tonight, what is it, 200 and,
Well, that's basically, we can't refund federal money.
So you
right.
can't
but
refund
we
federal
can
money with
use-
federal money.
We were going to use that money for lift station 6, I believe?
8.
8, I'm sorry, so, but we're not.
No, we are.
So,
We are.
so I'm confused about that.
So originally, we spent the $256,000, whatever it was, out of the ARPA fund, or, I'm sorry, it's 300 and something.
350 or 327.
327 out of the ARPA fund for Lift Station 8. We got some money in from the Delta Regional Authority that we were going to reimburse the ARPA fund. Well, we can't do that.
Correct.
So now we have the Delta Regional Authority money for 256 that is available
For capital.
for capital, and the mayor has a proposal for it at some point. I think he's going to bring it to the council to use.
But my point being that as our finance director
And it's not
just
really,
said-
and it's not really available because that money was
It's a reimbursement.
project-specific,
And reimbursement.
and it's a reimbursement. So it was project-specific and a reimbursement. So that's not really available either, that extra 256.
So the project hasn't been approved yet for using the money? It's project-specific, but it hasn't been spent yet. We haven't spent the money.
We haven't
yet.
We
spent
haven't received it yet.
No. So let me, this is going to get real technical. You might want to explain this one in person because we have encumbered the money. We put a deposit down on the project. So what ultimately will happen is we do have two lift stations in major disrepair. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to take the 256 from lift station 8, move it to lift station 9, use the Delta, the regional authority money to pay for lift station 8, move the ARPA money over to lift station 9.
So the money's available, but it's
Money for
committed.
nine's already approved.
So you can't add that, you cannot add that to the $100,000
Cannot.
available capital
Cannot.
funds.
But
All right.
thank goodness for Delta Regional Authority, because as we started working, and as you start working in collection system in the city, one problem leads to 10 others. So thank God we have that backing. So, and as you and I stated, we are going to start getting together and putting a true plan for the ARPA fund to start administering those funds.
Yep. Well, I was just hoping, and it's not available, that might be available for the capital projects, but
It
We
would
were
not
hoping-
be
It is in a sense-
We were hoping
unrestricted.
Well, it is in a sense, but it's already been committed.
Yes, sir.
Right.
committed
It
to
would-
lift station 9.
Yes, sir.
It would not be unrestricted.
So we've got about $100,000 of unrestricted money.
Correct.
Cash to spend
Correct.
on capital projects,
Correct,
future capital.
Correct.
At the moment.
correct.
Question? I think the mayor had told me that the 300,000 y'all put towards the playground to build the AstroTurf that you took out of the Arbor Fund, and just correct me, and because this was done last year, there's now, the job is over 400,000, so the mayor said they're just going to put a regular mud field out there now?
Regular grass back.
So that 300,000 could go back into the...
No, sir.
Capital, that's what I'm asking.
No.
Not all, I mean,
No, so
a
the
lot of
three,
that money's going to be spent for the grass field.
Okay, so it's going to, so, but you, when you did the ordinance...
It was for
It was
field.
dedicated
It was
for
for
the
field.
field?
It wasn't
It wasn't
dedicated
dedicated
for
for AstroTurf?
Nope.
No.
Okay, all right.
And you didn't pull that from ARPA, we pulled that right out of capital, right?
I don't recall
I
offhand.
have to see where.
I don't recall. We can check
Yeah,
that.
it's-
I think it was capital,
Correct.
Yeah, it was.
Okay,
but not Auburn.
right.
Well, see, all was something new to me. I mean, that's something...
It's okay.
I asked you about that last year.
I have all kind of revenue sources coming in. It's okay. New to me too, but I'm,
So that
listen, I'm
money-
smiling.
taking
That
it.
money
taking it to
for,
look.
that money for the field came out of capital or Arbor?
Capital.
I believe
I
capital.
don't recall off the top of my head.
I thought it was Arbor.
The only money we pull
So
from
can we
ARPA.
have a
Was
little
capital?
recap on that field?
You want to just real quick, a
project.
little
We can
recap on the
do it during
field?
reports, huh?
Okay, we'll go into doing reports if that's
All
okay,
right.
Mr. Thompson.
That'd be
Because that's a
great.
lot of, that's a lot of
Mr.
positive
Buddy,
news.
I want to sit down with you and Todd and go over this capital. We might have money allocated to things in capital that have projects that have not been done, that I believe we could go and
Just cancel
pull them
projects.
projects, cancel that, and then that fund wouldn't be
Well,
dedicated
yeah,
for
make
The
certain
biggest
things.
part,
no,
the biggest
no.
part,
No, I mean, it'd have to come back to the council.
yeah, it has to go back to the council. Yeah, you
you
can.
can.
We allocated $1 million of
You might
insurance
say no,
funds.
but we say you can.
We allocated $1 million of
we can
insurance
repurpose.
funds to the department that was using the property.
Right.
So we can't spend that on anything else.
I'm going to tell you right now, I don't ask for a dollar that can be reallocated. I know every dollar I'm asking for specifically to every single project.
You got
It's
money
rare
in
that I will be
capital,
off.
you got money in capital that's been there for years, that's dedicated to projects.
I hope that you can educate me, Councilman Chatelain, because I
can
would
look at
love to
that.
have more money than I knew it was there to begin with.
I think it's less money we can undedicate. It's more funds that are available. Like there's a small amount of money left for streets.
We
It's
need to use it.
restricted for streets. Let's use it. Let's
So that's what I'm saying.
get some ordinance
We
and.
just did a street. Did it
Correct.
Come out of that street.
Yes, actually, it
Okay.
did. It did. But there's 30 or 40,000 more left.
Left over?
Left over.
That goes
So-
to the mayor's special
Dedicated.
fund.
If it's dedicated.
It's dedicated for street
pull a street
improvements.
project.
Correct.
Perfect. That's it.
One more question,
There's more.
Todd, before you leave. I know you're working on the long sought-after schedule of cash fund balances.
Yep.
And total cash.
Yep.
So,
And I have a copy here for you today, so I can provide that to you. I can provide
Thank you.
that to all the council members.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not questioning these gentlemen up here, but when, tomorrow, would you let me know? Because I swear I thought you took it out of Auburn money, I swear.
We have to look.
Yeah, well, I really
I
don't
swear,
recall.
because I even made a comment that, you know, but not to you guys, I made a comment
You
to
made a
myself.
comment to yourself, what is ARPA money?
No, well, I didn't know what ARPA money was. I had to ask Craig. Craig told me what it was. Yeah, that was something new to me.
We're not sure what it is either.
I know exactly what it is, okay? I know exactly what it is, but okay, we'll move on. Madam Clerk? We're moving on.
Oh, you know, I think, just recollecting, I think it was capital because we anticipated reimbursement from FEMA.
Yeah, I'm going to go yes with capital because it is a reimbursement
Just
project.
check for me tomorrow.
Thank you.
I'm not questioning, just like to check.
Madam Clerk.
Thank you, get it back.
A letter from Judith Romaine on behalf of St. Rita requesting assistance in planning the annual May crowning procession. The procession is scheduled for Sunday, May 7th, 2023, after the 11:30 a.m. Mass. In the past, the city has been most gracious to provide barricades and/or a police escort as we process around the block. I respectfully request the inclusion of this event on the city council agenda to obtain the necessary approvals.
Okay, we'll open for public hearing. Anyone wanting to come speak on new business number 2? Please come forward. No one coming forward. We're going to close public hearing. Council discussion.
Chief, are they coordinating with you?
This first I'm hearing. this is the first I'm hearing of it. I'm not opposed to it, but we just need to get it coordinated. And in the future, I'd like to have a notice before we sit down at the table.
I mean,
But
it's not until May.
It's not a
We
big
can-
deal, but I mean, I'd like
We
to
can
know
defer
about it.
until
but
April,
We'll
it's not
take care
until
of it.
May, but, or we just go ahead
I
and,
think we approve it
Yeah.
pending police department handling it.
Okay.
It's not a big deal. I think they sent 2
Okay,
cars in here.
so new business, number 2, we have a motion by Councilman Chatelain to approve.
Second.
With the notation that the police department needs to have approval on this. We have a second by Councilman Asbill. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. New business number 2 is approved. Madam Clerk.
New business number 3, high and low content ABO application for McKinley's located at 2229 Hickory Avenue for John and Julie Coker.
I will open for public discussion for new business number 3. Please come to the podium. No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. Council discussion.
Chief, they've cleared all the background checks?
Yes, they cleared all the background checks. I reviewed it, and everything was in order.
Perfect. Move to approve. Move to approve.
Approve.
We have a motion by Councilman Asbill to approve. We have a second by Councilman Chatelain. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. New business number 3 is approved. Madam Clerk.
New
Business
business
number 4.
number 4, the members of the St. Rita's Dad Club respectfully request permission to sell beer and wine at the annual St. Rita Dad's Club Food Fest and Auto Show. The festival will be held this year on Saturday, April 29th, 2023, from, I guess that's 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. All proceeds will be used for charitable purposes benefiting St. Rita Parish.
Councilman Chatelain, you've been involved with, Councilman Chatelain?
I'm listening.
You've been involved with St. Rita a lot. You want to give us a little insight on this?
So I think that's going to be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is at 10 p.m.
That's what they submitted.
We're going all night.
Back to the future.
So they just came up with this. They coming up with a car show. I know the Knights of Columbus used to do a car show at St. Rita.
That's right. Remember
and,
that? I remember.
They haven't done it. And I think the Dad's Club's got a new young crowd. They're very energetic. They're doing a lot of stuff.
They are doing a lot.
We need to support them and help them whichever way we can. I think it's great for community. People need to realize St. Rita's Dad's Club's not for St. Rita's School. St. Rita's Dad's Club is for St. Rita Parish. So everyone's welcome to join. Everyone's welcome to go.
All right, thank you,
Thank you.
Councilman Chatelain. All right, all in favor for new business number 4?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk, new business number 5.
New business number 5, Surge Villanova, 3rd Annual Harahan Music Festival and Food Drive, Saturday, May 27th, 2023, from 12 p.m. to 6:30 p.m.
All right, we'll open for council discussion. Serge?
Evening, Serge, Villanova, 5-3 Ren Pass. Gentlemen, some of you I know, some others I look forward to meeting in the future. I'll be brief. I'm looking for another event permit for our 3rd Annual Harahan Music Festival and Food Drive taking place on Saturday, May 27th at Zerang Park, across from the restaurant Bienvenue. This will be the 3rd year we've done it. We founded it in 2021 to bring people back together, shine a light on formidable causes in the area, and to synergize the community behind a grassroots entertainment event for a good cause, raising food. We've done it without incident. We started on the back of Councilman Catelain's flatbed trailers. This year we're looking forward, hopefully, to welcoming Grammy Award-winning Lost Bayou Ramblers to the city. Once again, the Victory Bells. And, you know, I moved here about 4 years ago and immediately connected with the people, the scenery, everything about the city. And, you know, I really am very grateful to the council, the former council, Mayor Baudier, everyone with the city for nurturing the idea and helping me give back and affect the community in a positive way. And since we've started, since we founded it, we've raised over 6,000 items of food and water, for much-needed items of food and water for the St. Rita Food Pantry, $2,000. And we've cultivated some of these sponsorships to really interesting initiatives. We are on the verge of solidifying a community grant with a local Home Depot and the manager, Chad Abity, and the great people over there. to help restore the VFW down the street and get them restored with a new bathroom, new light fixtures, perhaps even a new riding lawn mower. All of these growing from what we started in 2021 with the first festival, and May 27th from noon to 7 p.m. or 6:30 at Zerang Park with about 4 bands. And we would appreciate that permit and to call the City of Harahan a sponsor once again.
And just, go ahead.
No, I would just be reiterating everything Serge just said. We started this 3 years ago. It was just kind of a shot in the dark, I think, at first, to see if it would work on the council's part, and it worked. And last year was awesome. We had some good acts, and it looks like we've got good acts lined up again. So I would move for approval.
Yep, and we also have Gulf Coast Bank. We wrote a support letter the other day for them.
Earlier this week, me and Joe, with over at the St. Rita Food Pantry, the beneficiary, we hauled over about 2,000 bottles of water from the Elmwood-based LA Waters over to the St. Rita Food Pantry. We locked in about 500 cans from the Blue Runner plant in Gonzales, and behind the strength of a letter of support personally from Mayor Bodier, we got the good people, including Marcel Gonzalez at Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, to direct a sizable monetary donation directly to the St. Rita Food Pantry. Thank you very much for that, Mayor.
Thank you. And so last year was my favorite year, and because it rained out, and you missed something really special if you missed this, because Amanda Shaw was playing when we got rained out. We went on down to Uncle Matt's, and we literally, everyone followed us down there who wasn't soaking wet, and even if you were, and we literally had a private showing with Amanda Shaw. It was incredible. She signed a wall. She spent time with every single person in that room. It was just amazing. I really hope the community can really get behind this and really, push it further. And then hopefully, maybe at this one, we'll start bringing out the plans of the plan of what we have for Zerang Park and a real stage and a real entertainment area. As a matter of fact, we will do that, and we can start to really showcase the future of what Zerang Park can be and what it's actually there for and why it's named Zerang Park.
We've got some great partners with Louisiana Office of Tourism, and they're going to be involved once again to support the festival. And every year, like the mayor's saying, has been a special moment. The first year we had an impromptu second line going from Zerang Park from the end of the first band set to the start of the second band set, and they were on key playing the same music, and it was really cool. I think that was Jason's idea. We all made it work on the spot. So it's really something not to miss, and that'll be hopefully Saturday, May 27th, the Saturday leading up to Memorial Day at Zerang Park.
Thank you, Serge. Thank you. All right, so we have a motion on that by Councilman Asbill to approve the permit. There was a second by...
Just council, so what you're approving is the event, but also the closing of Wilson and Camden Streets from Hickory to Oak. Yeah.
Thank you for that clarification.
And I believe last time, the council did the sponsorships, not the city.
Correct.
I think the last 2 times, actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
What was that date again?
May 27th.
27.
7, noon to 6:30.
Thank you.
Oh, so we have a motion on the floor to approve the permit by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Ricks. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk, for the record, that was second by Councilman Ricks.
Address the council.
Jumped too far ahead of me there. Okay, if anybody would like to address the council, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Michael Verino, 612 Benches Drive, Kenner, Louisiana. I'm here tonight briefly. I'm a food vendor at your local farmers market on Sundays, and first of all, I'm very appreciative to be part of your farmers market. Last week, we, the vendors and the customers, were kind of blindsided without prior notice about a ban on having or allowing dogs to attend the farmers market. As a vendor, I've been doing this for over 8 years, all throughout New Orleans, Jefferson Parish, and currently I'm in 3 markets in Jefferson Parish. Dogs and their families who bring the dogs, it's just a bond, and it's part of the ambiance of the market. I've never witnessed in my 8+ years of a dog attacking a person. There have been a few skirmishes amongst dogs, And as far as cleanup, that's never been an issue. We have excellent management, and I'm speaking independently. And also, the gentleman, Zach, whom I'm sure you know, comes out early before the market and leaves after the market to make sure it's pristine and in the same condition. I'm just asking for something I can show my customers. Last Sunday, it was not pretty. We get about, from what I've been told, about 70% dog owners who come to the market. And there's just a bad feeling right now. And I'm afraid it's going to lead to an inevitable shutdown of the market. I have that feeling. And Kenner's about to open up a new market, which is also going to be dog friendly. So I just wish y'all could do something to give me something maybe in writing to show our customers why their dogs are not allowed. And also just to maybe suspend or have a extended grace period until this is, giving more opportunity for the customers to give input.
So I'll briefly answer. So I agree. I enjoy that dogs go out to the park and interact with the public. I love that people bring their dogs. Unfortunately, dogs, it's a policy, and it's a health policy, that dogs are not allowed on athletic playing fields. And whether it looks like it or not, that is an athletic playing field for our youngest players to practice ball, soccer. They play soccer there and things like that. And I understand that, maybe 100% of the people, pick up a dog poop, right? But I promise you that 100% of the people do not pick up dog urine. And it happens. And we can agree that dogs urinate where they're going to urinate, right?
Absolutely.
And so for health purposes, we can't allow dogs on that area anymore. Now, if the market
We can relocate
if the
them.
market would like to find another area of the playground that is not a playing field, that balls aren't rolling around on, kids aren't rolling around on, I'm happy to accommodate that. Or another area in the city. We're happy to accommodate, but for that specific area, the policy is going to be, from my perspective, and I hope the rest of the council and the mayor, is that dogs are not allowed in that area.
I understand, I appreciate it. I just need something to show.
Well, you can show them the council meeting. I did something better for you.
well,
I'll put it on tape.
I need something in writing because I've gone through Jefferson Parish. There's no code. Every code, even on your website, states dog friendly. So this must be a recently amended or.
It's always been a policy. It's been a policy. There's been signs on those fences that go into that area for
Then may I
years.
ask, why did they open the market in January knowing and allowing dogs to attend for these past 3 months?
That wasn't a city decision.
That was brought to our attention just recently that the dogs are in there having problems.
I'm just
I don't see a
voicing,
problem. I don't see a problem getting you a letter stating our policy and procedures, and I'm gonna get it to the lady that runs the
Chantal?
Ms. Chantal.
I'll get it to her on city business head, but it's basically a procedure that the city's gonna enforce.
Just to clarify, we're not saying we're not allowing dogs at the market. What we're saying is we're not allowing dogs on playing
that
field where
area.
children play.
To be honest with you, I think a better spot for the market is scattered around the walking path. It's a lot of shade cover over there. It's natural walking space. Dogs would be allowed over there.
The little problem we have there is when the shelters are rented.
Wait, Eric, what was that? What did you say, sir?
Yeah, I mean, that would have to be an increased fee, I guess, but
He's saying move the market over by the walking track, which I said that originally, and Stu basically brought it to our attention that it's gonna cause a problem because them shelters are rented a lot of Sundays. And the market brings in a lot of people.
it's pretty
and
big.
it's been growing.
Parking lot's full.
Yeah. And I'm just,
And remember this,
this is the only market in Jefferson Parish, and I think most in New Orleans Parish. This is the only
Are any
market
of-
that's going to be
Are any of those other-
non-dog friendly.
Are any of those other markets on playing fields?
No, they're not.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
And
That's
that's
the
what I need to present in writing. Somehow, maybe Chantal, y'all could work it out.
we'll work on
Chantal?
getting something to Chantel, but they're not allowed in that area.
Well, is there any way we can have a little grace period until all the customers know that this is happening?
I believe
Because
me and
people are
Council-
showing up and going to
Me
be
and
told.
Councilman Rick sat in with Chantel, and we never said it went in effect immediately, because we understood that people were gonna bring their dogs.
We did.
But, I think we need to limit it another week or so.
I love dogs, but I think it should be in effect immediately. I mean, if it's not allowed, it's not allowed. If it's a health problem now, it's a health problem. If it's a health problem in 2 weeks, it's a health problem now.
I understand that,
Kids
but
are
for the
playing now.
people who are coming with their dogs, who's been coming with their dogs, when they show up with their dog, now they standing by the gate, can't go in. I'd say, I'd give them another week, done. That's my opinion. That would be more on the mayor.
And we're not opposed to working with Chantel to find a different location.
That sounds great. It's
Yeah,
just
we're not
because
We think it's a great community
vendors
event.
go where people come,
Right, yes, sir.
so.
So we are farmer market friendly, and so I just want you to know that.
We did say to Chantel in our meeting that, we, know that it's a very good event and that we welcome the event and all the folks and their pets, but it has to be outside of the playing fields. If they brought their dog in the parking lot, somebody could watch the dog while they went, that was one thing that we did say. But, you have to understand that there is a health risk for small children, and right now, the playground's in full swing.
I appreciate that. Like I said, though, we've been there three plus months now, and all of a sudden we were blindsided. And it's like, sorry, you're not allowed in the area,
I'm confused why you're saying 3 months.
January, I believe, is when the market opened.
Oh, no, it's been open.
Been there longer than
It's
that.
been open there almost a year,
Yeah.
if not longer.
And again, you got to remember, there hasn't been the
Well,
activity on the
even then,
playground.
that
like
seemed
we-
better. Even over a year, it's been dog friendly, so.
We
Yeah.
haven't had the activity on the
Playground
playground.
hasn't been active.
That's right. Now kids are there. And so-
Yeah.
And that's why
Well,
parents, not
I'm
us.
just a vendor.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're listening to what our constituents are saying.
Yeah.
It's parents coming there, we have to listen to, what the constituents say. But you're right, it's an active playground now, and we just got to try to do our best we can to make everybody happy.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And I'll work with Chantel, and we'll look around, scope the city, figure out, look, I brought the farmer's market back.
And I can't tell how many people are appreciative that you did. And I hate to
We'll get
see
it
it go.
figured out.
The problem is, the farmer's market's more than welcome to come back to City Hall. It was tight, and on the concrete, it's not the same as
Well, perhaps
Possible.
Figure
another
it out.
area.
Yes, sir.
Senior
And maybe
center.
even get involved and help and look around, maybe drive the city.
Senior Center, Zarang Park.
Yeah,
Royland. So we have a few other spots. we
Might
can
be a
look
blessing in disguise.
that's right, exactly.
All right, thank
at.
y'all.
It's the safety of the kids. but-
Yep,
Yeah, I
exactly,
understand, it's just, all of a sudden,
exactly. Blessing in disguise, how you like that?
Thank you.
Winds of fate.
Thank you.
Hello, Maurizio, Chairman, Planning and Zoning,
Can you state your last name, Mr. Mauricio?
Francescon. You like that, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad.
Something's wrong with you.
How many ways is there to pronounce your last name?
You can call me anything you want, Eric.
Oh, my God. All right, come on. Let's go.
But I just want to touch on what the mayor talked about at the beginning of the council meeting was the Sedgefield property. Again, I just encourage everyone, it sounds like it's going to come before planning and zoning. I encourage everyone to come. Anyone who owns property in Harahan has the right to apply for whatever zoning status they want to. It's an open discussion. He conducts his meeting his way, I conduct my meetings my way, and it's always going to be orderly. Everyone has their opinion. I encourage everyone to come. I think it's a good thing to talk about it, get public feedback. And again, we are the public arm or the public feedback for the mayor to bring that information before the mayor and the council at the next meeting, whenever this gets approved, and they approved our recommendations. And just so you know, as your chairman, typically I get that information week and a half before the meeting, or we all get it. I have no say in it. I can't approve anything, even though people have said stuff on social media. Why is Maria approving that? I don't even put this stuff together. Molly, Meredith, the people who work in here in City Hall, pull all that information together. And when I get that information, I, as your chairman, verify, notice has been sent out, do all the checks and balances prior to the meeting. So I confirm all that, make sure everything's good to go, and then we have the discussion. So just want to let y'all know just a bit of information of what goes through. And of course, this is all volunteer. We have 9 people who volunteer their time. We don't get paid. We do this out of the love of our hearts for this city and to keep the city moving forward, keep discussions, keep open discussions for anything that may affect the citizens of Harahan. So again, it should be coming up shortly, and y'all will be notified when the meeting is. It's the first Wednesday of the month, wherever it falls in the month. I don't know it off the top of my head. I just have to look on the city calendar. But if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. City Council, they all have my number, information. It's all pretty much public. From running the campaign, it's still, all the information is public still. So y'all can reach me if y'all need to have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maurizio.
Okay, no one coming forward to address the council. We'll now close address to council. Secretary's report.
Secretary's report for February 2023, total revenues, $566,184.42. Reports.
Report, Chief LaPree. Yes, sir.
Good evening. I wasn't here last month's meeting. I apologize. I was at the Louisiana Chiefs of Police Executive Training Course in Zachary at the State Police Academy. Was able to make a lot of good networking opportunities with former chiefs and chiefs from all over the state of Louisiana, building a good relationship, offering policies, procedures, exchange information. Then the following week I came back. I was at the mid-year Louisiana Chiefs Police Conference in Lake Charles. So it's been a busy couple of weeks, but we're making good progress. Thank the council. The red building next door is coming along pretty well. It's looking really good. We appreciate all the donations and support that we've had to get it done.
What are we going to call it now if it's not red? It's not going to be
You
red.
can call it whatever you want.
Can't call it the, we still going to call it the red building?
Well, I'm going
Upper Pantala?
well, we could talk about calling it whatever later, but we're making renovations to headquarters. We are getting Wi-Fi in the building. It's taken me 3 months, but we're finally going to get Wi-Fi. We're updating our phone system. We have hired several new officers to the city. We're moving forward with that. Luckily enough, the officers that we're able to hire are post-certified, coming in already trained, ready to go on the street. We do have one officer, Jonathan Davis, who's in the St. Charles Parish Police Academy right now. He graduates May 2nd, and he'll be coming on to the Harahan Police Department. He'll be a good asset to us. He knows more about computers and phones and all than I do, so I use him a lot. I told him I'd let him work the street once in a while, but I need him to help, and he's a good kid and he'll be a good asset to the city. I want to thank everybody's support. I've been getting encouragement from the citizens on my Facebook and responding to me about what we're doing. It's only been a little over 2.5 months. I feel like I've been here a year and a half. Like I say, it's just a lot to take. I've met with Todd. I've met with all of the council working with me to figure out where our money's at, where we can cut, where we can save, and keep moving forward. But we are getting more traffic coming in from the city of New Orleans through Earhart. I'm meeting with our councilman, Dino Banana, next week. Working on getting some flock cameras, which are the crime recognition cameras. They'll do license plate recognition, face recognition. We need to get a hold of our outside visitors that come in with bad intentions. So we are writing tickets now. We are doing traffic enforcement, so be cautious. When you are driving, we are out looking and trying to enforce our traffic laws to slow people down from riding around the city. We just want to make sure everybody's aware that we are out there trying to make a difference and keep everybody safe. The reports this month we had for January, I think we're behind on the statistics, but we had 512 calls for service. We had 10 traffic accidents. We wrote 92 citations in the month. We had 11 patrol requests. We had 19 misdemeanor arrests. We had 1 felony arrest. We had 14 misdemeanor, 15 city, 10 traffic. And this is the disturbing one. We've had 7 narcotic arrests, where 2 of the subjects that were arrested were convicted felons in possession of heroin, meth, and cocaine. And we're getting a lot of marijuana off the street right now. But those 2 individuals also had stolen weapons, stolen guns in their possessions. So we need to make sure we're being prepared, getting the proper equipment that we need to keep the city safe and to keep our officers safe. We are still working on looking at getting some more vehicles for the officers to drive in to be safe. When you're in that car 12 hours a day, you want something that's comfortable, that is going to be reliable for you. We have sent back 4 vehicles that the city didn't own. We were paying insurance on them. We sent them back to the DA's office. Why we were paying insurance, I don't know. They didn't even belong to us. But I'm figuring it out as we go down the road. We had 2 residential burglaries. Our detectives are working on those. I'm not going to say it's questionable, but we listed them as burglaries. We had a couple of vehicle thefts. One of the vehicles that was stolen, it was found over in the Elmwood area the next morning. 6 larceny, 6 assaults. We had 1 attempted robbery, but it's a questionable if it was really a true attempted robbery. I think it was more of a setup than that. But the 6 larceny thefts and the 11 assaults. And I want to thank the City of Kenner. Today I was invited to represent the Harahan Police Department and the city at the Kenner Police Department's graduation. They graduated 12 new officers today. 4 were out of St. John Parish, 3 were out of St. James Parish, and the rest were with Kenner. I was honored to represent the city. I thank Chief Kid Conley for inviting me to represent our city. I want to thank Chief Larson from the Gretna Police Department. He was gracious to send over his mechanic that handles their generators and their vehicles. We have 4 generators sitting in the back. I didn't know if they ran, what happened to them, so I asked Chief Larson if he could help us out. He sent his folks over. 2 of the generators are completely shot. It'd be cheaper just to buy 2. There's some issues with them, so we have the mechanic is going to look at taking some parts off of the 2 that are totally down and see if we can make the other 2 run. Next month, one of my top priorities with my chief assistant, Joey Marico, and I want to sit down with the council on it, start putting together our hurricane plan. We're only a few months out from that. I want to start getting a plan in place so we know what's going to happen, where we're going to go, who's going to be responsible for what. I'm a planner. I don't want to wait till they tell me the storm's in the Gulf and then everybody runs around trying to figure out what we're going to do. We're going to have a plan in place. We'll get input from the council, and if the citizens want to give input, I'm open to all comments and concerns. But the Harahan Police Department, I'm very proud of our guys. They're doing a great job, and I'm thankful and blessed that I get to represent them. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Just for the record,
Could I
Chief,
ask questions?
just for the record, our stats do show these were the stats for February, that your numbers are correct for February, not January.
Right.
So you're on time. Your people who gave you this are perfect.
Yeah.
Like you.
They highlighted me.
You're
Thank you.
You're amazing. Thank you, Chief. This guy is wonderful to work with, y'all, and we are very, very fortunate to have him. Councilman Asbill?
2 quick announcements. It's fish fry time. 2 upcoming fish fries. St. Rita School is doing theirs again on March 24th. They do a dinner option Harahan Fire Department is doing their fish fry on March 31st. They do a lunch and dinner option. They'll deliver some big orders if you have a big order. $10. Is St. Rita still $10? Anybody know?
I think so.
Yeah. $10 St. Rita and $10 at HFD. And I haven't seen anything yet or heard anything, but I'm sure Faith Lutheran is doing one at some point. Just if somebody sees it or posts it, that'd be great, just so we can support them as well. Update on the playground. Can we just supplement, do this together, tag team this? So the turf fields came in higher than what the engineers had estimated, and so weren't able to move through that process to start those fields. But so we decided to go with dirt fields and natural turf, natural sod. The Arsenault field is complete construction. We just need to stay off of it for a few weeks before it's ready to start being played on. And we did a lot of upgrades over there, did a bunch of upgrading of the fencing, obviously put new turf down, did some upgrades to the first base dugout, made it larger to compare more closely with the third base dugout, replaced the netting, painted the backstops, did a full upgrade over there and replacement. The soccer fields, we played soccer this season on our fields. The 11-12 team played all of their games at Harahan. We invited Little Farms and Pontiff were in our league, and we got a bunch of compliments on how nice that was looking and how good that was. And the Dixie Youth Field is getting started now, and it should be ready in the next few weeks. Of course, all of our contractors are doing a good job working. I thank Mayor Baudier for letting us push this along and make it go, because that's been a real help for his approval to help us get this moving forward.
Thank you. Councilor?
Arsenault of the younger children's field, the one on 10th Street?
So yeah, that's
That's the Dixie Youth.
Dixie Youth Field. That's in the process now.
Okay. Which one's Arsenault?
Arsenault's the larger field.
Larger one, thank you.
Closer to the fire station. Arsenault Field, like he said, I think all we're waiting on is for the grass to grab. You know, we can't start playing on it yet because it's not gonna hold. The Dixie Youth Field, they should be finished in the next 2.5 weeks. Might be waiting on some netting to go on the fence, but that's not gonna be a holdup because in the same note, once they finish, you got about 6 weeks to get them roots to grab. I'm excited. I spoke to the Athletic Association to see if they can help us out with the press box behind the Dixie Youth Field. It's in bad shape. So I think we'll look at that. I think they might put up some money. You might get some volunteers to help make some repairs on that place. Other than that, I have no report.
Councilman Buddy?
Well, first, I'd like to thank you two for your hard work and pushing through these improvements on the park. That's what makes a community, so thank you, both for the work and the update. Other than that, I don't have anything to report. It is food festivals, I guess, with the fish fries during Lent. I believe Faith Lutheran had a post. They do have a fish fry coming up shortly, but I do not recall the date, unfortunately. But I will make both the St. Rita and the Harahan Fire Department fish fries. The food is always delicious, and it's the best value in town.
Yeah.
So be safe, and thank you.
Councilman Johnston?
Just wanted to mention that Ed Broussard passed away a couple of weeks ago. Margaret Broussard's husband. Margaret passed away a couple of years ago. She was our city clerk for 17 years, and Ed Broussard passed away, I think, like 2 weeks ago. He made it to 91. I think he was 91 or 92, so he lived a beautiful life. And also, I just want to mention that we had a lot of good information tonight, especially from Mauricio and a bunch of other people and the chief, but the audio is not working on the website. All they got is video.
No,
I had a call.
it's back.
We got it back.
I had a call. It's got back?
Yes.
Okay, because I got a call that it wasn't working.
Yeah.
So good. So I hope the chief's information and Mauricio and them got to the citizens, because it's very important what you guys said.
Yeah.
That the people know that.
It is
But
back.
I just want to
Councilman,
mention.
what we heard earlier is that it will be on YouTube. So if anybody wants to watch it on the internet, the audio will be available.
For the whole meeting, the audio's available?
Yes.
Oh, good, good, okay. Because I had gotten a call from somebody, a couple of people saying the audio wasn't working, But I'm glad they got the audio back up because, like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of good information out here today. So, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
I
Councilman
mean, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Ricks.
I would just like to thank everybody who's working, as Bill and Jason, Eric, for the playground, but more importantly, I'd like to thank Eddie Renton from State Machinery for donating a piece of equipment to fix the lighting at the playground, as well as Donald Fallbacher, who helped them get that done.
Yeah, what's Joe's flooring place? What's the flooring place?
Oh, yeah. And thank you, Joe, for the flooring for the city hall and the flooring for the police station. We also appreciate your donations on that as well. I've been working with, Chief LaPree on getting the police station back in order for where it was in its original planned use. It's coming along. We are working on the Detective Bureau, and it's coming along. It's actually going to be a fortified building, which has not been that way in forever. So, we're working really hard getting all these things up and running. And I know Chief LaPree's been working very hard, as well as Joe Almarico, trying to get those things in line. And I would just like to say thank all the council members for approving those funds, and the mayor for approving the funds and working with the police chief, trying to get those things done. Thank you, everybody.
I think Harahan will see its greatest days yet to come. I think working with this council has been incredible. Councilman Ricks is, we call him Wrecking Ball Ralph. He gets up there and gets it done. I mean, he is completely responsible for almost all the renovation, along with Nick Nucio, Joe, Chief himself, in City Hall. He's been on top of this red building. We're going to try to make it somewhat of a safe house during any kind of storm, someplace where we can put our people just in case something happens again. He's truly been an asset to this council. I really enjoy working with him. He's kind of a younger version of me. It's actually funny to say Councilman Ricks, just because I've been knowing him for so long. But it is awesome to be a partner with you in this. Councilman Chatelain and Asbo, y'all have been incredible on these fields and this playground. So thank you so much for grabbing a tiger by the tail and let's and making me see the light even in sometimes, and let's push this through. Councilman Johnson, of course, his wisdom is always very, very dearly admired. Councilman Buddy, again, always, I love that he questions me to question and always look and dig into the details of where we are. Yes, he does. Thank you. However, I'd just like to read over something real fast, if people would read at home. And also,
You know what? Hold on 1 second. I'd also like to thank the city's maintenance department.
Yes.
For being so instrumental in getting so many things done.
Thank you.
Gary's doing a great job, Larry's a great painter, and the rest of the crew, unbelievable.
I definitely second that. I
Thank you.
really
Yeah,
appreciate
those are
that. Thank you,
awesome.
Mike.
So we do have information about the Faith Lutheran Fish Fry. It is on March 17th from 4 to 6:30, which is tomorrow, which is St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody, by the way. And so get out there, try to support them because they are a great school and a great part of this community. Just real quick, I wanted to kind of go over what we're working for, because we've been really working hard. Me and my CAO, Brian Wallace, we've been trying to become task-oriented. We have a lot of moving parts right at this moment, a lot of working with FEMA. We spent yesterday for about 4.5 hours maybe talking with GOSEP, which is the State Department of FEMA. They've been incredible. They're really trying to facilitate. We have 3 major projects that we're trying to get moved along here, being the firehouse, the gym, and the roof on the on City Hall. So we've been trying to get those projects moved forward. They've actually committed some funds for some other minor projects, which I think will be really good. But this year in capital outlay, and this is something I alluded to earlier, and I'm pretty proud of this. We really did a lot of work with our state representative, our state senator, and just what we're asking for this year, and for the record, it is all being considered either on House Bill 1 or House Bill 2, and we're asking for $400,950 in emergency sewer collection treatment for the treatment plant. We're asking for $340,000 in general street maintenance and repair. We're asking for $3.4 million in sewer plant and sewer collection overhaul. We're asking for $126,800 to replace the entire AC in the senior center, because that thing is so antiquated, it's going to probably take more money to get the old one out than put the new one in. And then in Royland Park, we're asking for $653,428. We have a vision of Royland Park to where...
Royland subdivision.
Yeah, Royland, I'm sorry, Royland, no, this is for Royland Public, yep, you got it, Royland subdivision as well as Royland Park, which we think is a really underused area of the city. So we're trying to we trying to dress it up, maybe put an outside fitness court, an outside fitness park in it, and just looking at different options of what we can to kind of make it a more community pocket park driven type of situation. And we just want to let you know, every bit of this has been submitted. Every bit of it is under consideration because we're serious about what we're doing, and everyone knows it. We're not Band-Aiding, we're fixing things. And that's been resignated through prior council and this council. They know when I go out onto a project, I don't just Band-Aid. We're going to fix it. We're going to fix it the right way. And because, I want the mayor to come behind me to not have some of the challenges that I've had. And so I do have a good staff that understands that. And sometimes the projects come in a little higher than anticipated. But again, we fix it and we fix it right. And happy St. Patrick's Day.
Mayor,
That's all I got
before
to
you
say.
before you call it a day, Royland, you mentioned about Royland. Back during my administration, that's when they redid the ditch back there, and they used Royland as a camping ground for all the equipment. So towards the end where they got all those rocks and shells,
Right.
you got our fence stopping here. That is all city right away. So if you do something with the park, maybe build a walking trail.
Yes, sir.
You got all that area. You can extend the park another probably
so,
300 feet.
We have that little firehouse back there. We think it'd be great for party rentals. We think it'd be great for, little community events. And we have the old fire truck in there that it's still, it's an antique. It's definitely something to showcase that we have. A lot of people don't even know we have it. And it's actually pretty cool. It's one of the great things a great asset the city can use to be an economic driver as well as showcase where we once were.
I just want to let you know about that.
You're the man. Thank you. Oh, yeah, our inauguration is Tuesday, this Tuesday coming up, March 21st at 10 a.m. Everybody in the city is welcome to come out. It will be at the Blake. And so we'll have a lot of dignitaries there, and it should be a fun time. So if you're not busy, come on out this Tuesday at the Blake, March 21st, 10 a.m. for the inauguration. Okay, Madam Clerk, pay the bills.
Bills paid in February 2023, total expenditures $381,655.52. No executive session adjourned.
I have a motion by Councilman Ricks to adjourn, second by Councilman Johnson. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk, we are adjourned.